Good afternoon, this is Martian Woodworking. Today we're going to do a little project. This is one of these artesian compact keyring knives that comes out of Woodcraft USA. So today I've already done half the project by drilling and gluing my tube within it. This is the kit that we're going to use. So we have a couple choices. We're going to turn this on a mandrel. We could use the standard pen mandrel, or there's a simpler mandrel that comes in without an opportunity to bend this metal plate. So we're going to use the one I have mounted up on the lathe. In addition to it, we have the key ring bushings that come along with it. So fundamentally, it's a pretty simple project that most anybody can do. So we're going to go out and mount our bushings into our blank, one on each side. And if I did the job properly and there's no glue, it should fit in there easily. So we'll load this into the center, and then from this point we're going to close the gap and lock our vise in place. Now our lathe's locked in place. We'll just make sure it's nice and tight. And we'll tighten it up. Always remembering, whenever we're doing this, we're always worried about safety. We're going to put our banjo in place so that it's nice and straight into this location. And today we're going to make sure we use our safety equipment. It's a little dusty and dirty, but it beats getting beat up with the little residue. So today we're going to use various tools. One of the tools that I'm going to use is the spindle roughing gouge. So let's get it started. We're going to operate this at a slower speed till we get it round. About 1800 revolutions per minute. We're going to make sure we put it safe, put our tool on the rest, and begin to proceed to slide it across. And the goal is just to get off those corners. Well, you'll know if you get it done if it doesn't bounce. But as you see, it's bouncing all over the place, so we still got corners to get off. Now, see that material? It's kind of brittle. So I'm a little bit concerned that this roughing spindle gouge might take chunks out of my sections. So we're near round. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this over and go ahead and use a carbide. And the carbide that I've chosen to use happens to be a negative rake. This one's a square one, and it'll help us square this off and get off the rough edges. And at this time, we're going to just go ahead and crank up the speed as fast as this thing will go and let it hum. So right now, it's 4,100 RPMs. These store-bought acrylic are kind of brittle. They're not as nice as custom poured ones using like aluminum, but they'll work. Again, we want to see if it's round, and we can still hear it has a little chatter. Now we got it to the rough shape. We're going to go ahead and switch over tools, and we're going to go ahead and use just one of these pen turning tools. And this one here doesn't have a negative rake. It's just a straight round pen turning tool. We're just going to get these edges, and we're going to start getting this shape down to the sides that are going to be level with the bushing. The nice thing about it is once we put it as the, line it with the bushing, the design is all ours. We can do whatever way we want. If we want this keyring to be a little fatter, we just go ahead and make it fatter. Or if we want it to be a narrower keyring, we just run it down and make it narrow. For this case, I think I'm just going to simply smooth it down and make it a little bit narrower. Now, we'll see that these ribbons keep on flying off. You know, I periodically like to stop and see what I'm doing, see if it's the shape that I desire. I'm going to get a little light on it, we can see it. It's looking pretty good, except for we got some rough sides up there on the top. So I want to go ahead and smooth those rough ones down and still bring them flush to the sides of the other ones. So, a little bit of work, we'll just smooth them out and we'll be good. But this is going to finish pretty easily. You can feel with your finger that it's nice and smooth on that side. Still going to work down this back side. Now, I'm thinking, since this is a knife, I probably want one side a little bit fatter than the other. So I think I'm going to intentionally leave it a little bit wider because, I don't know about you, when I'm using a knife, I want something to grab a hold of. Even though this isn't a big blade, you probably certainly want to make sure that you don't hurt yourself. Alright, so let's do the last check and see where we're at. Yep, that feels good on each side. Let me turn them around. That's great. And I'm feeling it, it's pretty smooth. Pretty smooth. But I feel that there's maybe some dips and turns. So we're going to move on to the next phase. It's pretty simple. Next phase is we're just going to do a little rough sanding, cleaning it up. So we can move our banjo and move it out of the way. And for this intents and purpose, although it's not required for a Ford, you like to use like 400 grit just to get off any high spots. So it will be uniform across the way. So with this, I'm going to be a little quieter because I got to put on some dust protection because, well, you don't want to breathe this crap in. Probably not good for your lungs. And we're going to turn down our speed to as slow as we can go that I have set. So let's do a little quick sanding. Nice thing about sanding is you can feel all the surface. You can tell whether there are any areas that have high or low spots. In at 400 grit, I'm not really scuffing it up too much. I'm pretty satisfied. Let me move up to 600 grit. Should have my dust collection on, but it's too noisy right now. Now I can take this dust collection off because I'm done with that dust mask because I'm done with my dry sanding. I'm going to move over to wet sanding. Wet sanding, I'm going to use some micro mesh. Micro mesh is usually the easiest way to do this. You know, it has this neat little kit that goes from 1500 to 1200 grit. So using micro mesh, it will give me that fine polish that I need in order for this to give me the finish that I desire. So, made a little jig to hold my cup and hold my stuff to keep the water from being all over the place. Anything will really work. I'm just trying to protect my equipment. You know, it's expensive. You don't want to ruin it. And also to protect my lathe, I got a little tray. Hey, these, you know, my wife might not like it, but you know, these were really worth stealing out of her pantry. That catches all the water, anything that comes out there. So we're going to turn it back on, and we're just going to run it through and do it really quick. So let's see what it looks like. Yes, it looks like it's peeling pretty good. So I'm going to catch back up with you after I'm done. Okay, hey, we got our sanding down, didn't bore you too much. Now we're just going to do a little polish. I'm going to use this Hut Ultra plastic polish. It's pretty simple stuff. Make sure you shake it up. And we're just going to put it on a piece of paper towel. A little bit on there. Does pretty good, if I have any left in it. I'm going to turn this thing back on low. I'm going to spread it out some. Once we get it spread out, then we're going to crank up the speed. Everyone likes the speed. Turn up the volume. And we're going to get it out. So the goal is to get this high gloss shine that comes out of it. And this does well. But if you look at the piece of paper, it's dirty as can be. So we don't want that all over. So we're going to make sure we move around our piece of paper and clean off the edges, because it seems that the bushings get dirty and get dark. So we're going to try to clean off those. I'm looking at this. I feel the burn in my fingers, so it's working. So it's getting shiny. Well, let's turn it off and take a look to see whether we like it. Oh yeah, it does have a nice high gloss shine. So what we're going to do is go ahead and take this out of our vise, out of the lathe, and I'm going to hold on to it and move my taking tailstock out of the way, and my little plastic thing, so I don't have water all over the place, and I'll hold on to it and take it out. Because remember, this is only a small one. If I didn't, it would drop down on the thing. So I'm going to go and use this time, clean up my edges. Now I got my Woodcraft pen press, which works really well. Got the instructions this thing came with. They're pretty straightforward, and I have a habit of whenever I put anything together for the first time, I try to lay it out on the table just as if the instructions were going. So I'm going to look at this. Instructions pretty simple. Say press the cap into the tube. Well, got to figure out what I want top and bottom. So I'm thinking the fatter end would be a good cap. So simple enough. This is the cap. I'm going to press it in there, and I'm going to use the little plastic side over here because, well, I don't want to mess up the brass. All right. So the other thing, it says press the threaded coupling. So this is the threaded coupling that goes into place. And you notice the nice thing is they give pictures. So we're going to put that in place. I'm going to go ahead and press that one in as well. We get that threaded coupling in place. Wow, it's 3/4 of the way there. So fundamentally, then it says we got to close the knife, so we're going to remove the threaded from its protector. Don't cut myself. Somebody told me these were sharp. So we're going to go ahead and put that in here, thread it in place, and it works really well. It screws in place, has the cap that protects it. Hey, heck of a job. That turned out really well. So let's disassemble it. See how that knife works. Disassembled it, and to protect those threads. Not sure how that's going to work out, where this threading goes in here. Well, that works pretty well. It threads those on there. So I'm thinking that is going to go right here like this and thread onto to protect those other threads. So that's a pretty sharp little knife. Hey, so that's the little project. This is the Craft Supplies USA. It's a compact keyring knife. So if you like it, go ahead and click that like on my YouTube channel. And this is Martian Woodworking.